Hey guys and girls, this is Wager Detective here, July 23rd, 2026, coming to you live from New Jersey. And we're going to cap this Padres versus Braves game. Before we get into that, be sure to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and I just want to say thank you to all my fans out there that follow me on Twitter, my subscribers on YouTube. I love you guys, and I really appreciate you. You just motivate me just to know that people are keeping an eye out or looking out for what Wager Detective is doing. I appreciate it, and I'm always going to try to give you the best advice that I can on a game, on the Wager Detective report. Be on the lookout for the Diamond Report, the Implied Probability Report, up on Twitter daily. Let's get into this cap. Padres versus Braves. Padres coming into this game, they're 4-6 in their last 10, 7-13 in their last 20. They're 12-12 against left-handed pitching, which they'll see today in Chris Sale. They're 6-12 versus the East, National League East, and they're 23-28 on the road. So all those things don't look good, but when you look at what they're doing against the Braves, they're 6-3 in their last 9 versus the Braves. They're 10-3 versus the Braves. So 10-3 versus the Braves in their last 13 games versus them over the last 2 years. And like we said, they're 6-3 in their last 9, plus 5 run differential in their last 9 versus the Braves. It is 3 over, 4 under, 2 push to that number 8 that's set today for the total. The Padres are plus 205, and the Braves are coming back minus 250. And in their last 9 versus the Braves, they're scoring 4.11 runs a game. The 3.55 for the Braves comes out to 7.66. And if we look at what they're doing the last 10 at the Braves, they're 7-3 plus 8 run differential, scoring 4.2 runs a game. The 3.4 for the Braves comes out to 7.6 runs per game average. So if we look at what they're doing in their last 10 and what they're doing on the road, it's a complete different story as when they play the Braves. Like I said, 6-3 in their last 9 overall and 7-3 in their last 10 at the Braves, scoring at least 4 runs a game in both those splits. If we look at what they're doing in road day games this year, they're 14-9 plus 12 run differential, 13 over, 9 under, 1 push. They're scoring 5.73 runs a game in their road day games this year to 5.21 for their opponents. Comes out to 10.94 runs per game average. So doing good in road day games this year, 14-9 plus 12 run differential, scoring 5.73 runs a game to 5.21 for their opponents. If we look at their last 9 games overall, they're 4-5, but they're plus 14 in the run differential. 6 over, 2 under, and 1 push in their last 9 games. Last 9, Padres are hitting the ball. 6.44 runs per game to 4.88 for their opponents. Comes out to 11.32 runs per game average. When we get to what the Padres have done against the National League East, they are 2-7, but they're only minus 6 in the run differential department. 5 over and 4 under in road games versus the National League East, and they're scoring 4.11 runs per game to 4.77 for their opponents. So if you look at all things considered, you look at that spread today where they're plus 205 and the Braves are minus 250, it's understandable because we're looking at Griffin Canning, who's going to be on the mound, and the Padres are 1-4 in his last 5 starts, minus 11 run differential. In his last 5 starts, Griffin Canning has pitched 22 2/3 innings for a 6.37 ERA, 1.64 WHIP, and 1.19 home runs per 9. If we look at what he's done on the road this year, when he starts, 0-5 is the result in his 5 road starts this year. 19 2/3 innings pitched. He's got a 10.1 ERA, a 1.56 WHIP, and he is giving up 2.30 home runs per 9. If we look at what he's done on the year as a starter, the Padres are 2-9 when he starts this year, 2 over, 8 under, and 1 push. And in those 11 games as a starter this year, the Padres are minus 27 in the run differential department, scoring 1.91 runs per game to 4.72 for their opponents. And Canning is going to be on 4 days rest in this game, and he's 0-3 this year. The Padres are 0-3 when he starts on 4 days rest, minus 9 run differential, and he has a 7.07 ERA and a 1.5 WHIP in 14 innings pitched on 4 days rest this year. So all the metrics there, you can see why the Braves are minus 250 in this game. I don't necessarily look at, because anything can happen on any given outing. He did see the Braves this year, and they won. The Padres won 4-0. So, you look at that and you say he's only had 2 starts versus the Braves in his career. One of those was a 3-11 loss, and then one was a 4-0 win. In 7 innings pitched, he has given up 7 earned runs for a 9 ERA. But this year, again, he didn't start. It wasn't for that long, that game that he was in. I think it was only for a couple innings that he saw the Braves this year. So it's a mixed bag there, right? We look at the Padres, everything's looking good. 14-9 in road day games this year, 6-3 last 9 versus the Braves. Padres are 7-3 last 10 at the Braves. Padres are 10-3 in their last 13 games, last 2 years versus the Braves. But when you get to Griffin Canning, you could see the ERA troublesome. You know, and you always wonder, can you have an outing where you just give your team a chance? Let's take the Braves side of the cap here. Braves 6-4 in the last 10, 10-10 in their last 20. They are 31-20 at home, and they're 10-11 versus the National League West. In home day games this year, they're 7-8, +2 run differential, 7 over, 7 under, and 1 push in their 15 home day games, and they're scoring 4.33 runs per game to 4.22 for their opponents. So you look at their home day games, they're scoring 4.33 runs per game. You look at the Padres in their 23 road day games, they're scoring 5.73. So the Padres scoring roughly 1.4 to 1.5 runs per game better per game than the Braves in the home and away day game splits. If we look at their last 9, the Braves are 5-4, +10 run differential. We said the Padres are 4-5, but they're +14 run differential. We look at the Braves last 9, they're scoring 5.33 runs per game. If you look at the Padres last 9 games, they're scoring 6.44. So in both those splits, Padres scoring at least a run better between their last 9 and road and home day splits. If we look at what the Braves have done against the National League West, they're 2-3 this year, -10 run differential. As we said, with the Padres, they're 2-7, but -6 run differential on the road. Braves 2-3 at home this year versus the National League West, -10 run differential. They're scoring 4 runs a game to 6 runs a game for their opponents. And we said the Padres are scoring, even though they're 2-7 in road games versus the East, they're still scoring the same amount per game, 4 runs per game. So we look at that total. You say to yourself, well, Sale could probably keep these guys in check. And then even if Griffin Canning can have a decent game, we know the Padres bullpen is pretty good. I mean, they do have Mason Miller, and they got other guys that can, could shut a game down on you. So it's going to be a matter of, can the Padres get to Sale? And we're going to talk about Sale right now. I also wanted to mention, this is going to be the last game of a homestand before the Braves hit the road. And in that split this year, where it's the last game of a homestand and then they have a road game with no rest, they are 2-3 this year in that split. 2-3 +2 run differential, scoring 5 runs a game to 4.6 for their opponents. They lost to the Mets 6-7. They lost to Milwaukee 4-9. They beat Boston 8-1. They lost to Detroit 2-5, and they beat the Athletics 5-1. So if you look at that split, last game before a homestand, before hitting the road with no rest on the horizon, they are 2-3, scoring 5 runs a game to 4.6 for their opponents. And let's talk about Chris Sale. Chris Sale, Braves are 3-2 in his last 5 starts, but they're +24 run differential, scoring 7.4 runs a game to 2.4 for their opponents, comes out to 9.8 runs per game average. Last 5 starts for Sale, he does have a 1.35 ERA and a 1.09 WHIP in 26 2/3. If we look at what he's done at home this year, The Braves are 7-2 when he pitches at home this year, 4 over, 4 under, plus 45 run differential in Sale's home starts this year, where the Braves are 7-2, plus 45 run differential, scoring 7.22 runs a game to 2.22 for their opponents. Comes out to 9.44 runs per game average. In 53 1/3 innings pitched at home this year, he has a 1.05 ERA and a 1.03 WHIP. And if we look at what Sale has done during the regular season, the Braves are 11-7. He does have a 2.06 ERA on the season. If we look at what Sale has done on 5 days rest, he is 5-4, and the Braves are 5-4, and the over/under is 4 over, 5 under when Sale pitches on 5 days rest. On 53 2/3 innings pitched on 5 days rest this year, he does have a 1.85 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. If we look at what he's done against the Padres in his last 5 starts from 2023 to 2025, he does have 31 innings pitched, and he does have a 2.03 ERA and a 0.87 WHIP. So when he starts against the Padres, his teams are 3-2 in his last 5. And if we look at the over-unders, it is 2 over and 3 under in that split, plus 4 run differential in those last 5 starts versus the Padres. Again, a 2.03 WHIP and a 0.87 home run, 0.87 WHIP, 2.03 ERA. He's only given up 3 home runs in 31 innings pitched in his last 5 outings versus the Padres. Guys, if we're looking at this, I think it's safe to say, I mean, it's showing that Griffin Canning is going to be the primary. If he could get in there, and, you know, whoever the starter is going to be, you'd like to think that, you know, a plus 205 is, you know, nothing to kind of, I mean, you look at Ty France hitting the ball good, you got Machado, you got Tatis, one swing of the bat. This guy doesn't give up home runs, Chris Sale. And you look at that lineup, you'd be hard-pressed to say that the Braves aren't going to come into this game. The thing that stands out to me is the Padres are just, like I said, 10-3 in their last 2 years versus the Braves. They're 5.73 runs per game on road day games this year, where they're 14-9 and plus 12 run differential. Even in their last 9, even though they're 4-5, they're still plus 14 in the run differential. Braves, we said they're 5-4 last 9, but they're 10 plus 10 run differential. I could see this game getting over. I just want to take a look at something real quick here. As we've done the cap. We kind of see why the spread is the way it is, and now it's jumping up to minus 260. So it went up 10 cents towards the Braves. Over under stayed the same. If we look at alternate total runs, strikeouts, let's see here. We can get to correct score, team total runs. They got the Braves at 4.5 at minus 120. It's an audacious line. They're saying the Padres are only going to score 2.5, and they're juicing that at minus 140. Braves, San Diego alternate total runs. You can get the Padres at over 3.5 at plus 140. I think, you know, if you're looking for value, you know, all my metrics are saying that primarily it's not that it's not possible that they can't get to that number, but I think if you're going to take a chance, you get to that Braves bullpen. I mean, this guy Sale's going to be in there for at least 6 innings, you could imagine. Let's take a look at the pitching and see what they have. Outs recorded, Chris Sale over 18.5 plus 130, under minus 178. It's not really worth it to take a chance on that, because that means he's going to have to go into the past 6 full innings, and I mean, you don't really know what you're going to get there. On 5 days rest, He's got 53 2/3 on 9 starts. So 9 times 6 is 54. It's probably going to go under that total. What you could do is try this. Minus 178 for the under, and then you take a look at the over-under on the game and you say 8. That's a tough call. I mean, you take that with the Braves to win. They won't let you combine that on FanDuel. It's really a tough call. I mean, when you really look at this, what else could we look at that could be something that from this cap we looked at? You're looking at the Padres plus 1.5 at minus 102. You're looking at the Braves minus 1.5, minus 118. And again, I don't see how you can't take. They're going to have Hart starting the game. I'm not sure who this guy is. It says K Hart. Was it Kevin Hart? And then you're going to have Griffin Canning coming in. And it could be a spot where maybe him not starting, and then you get this guy Hart to come in and just give you a decent outing. Could be something to look at. But if you look at this, if I was to look at this, guys, I mean, they're hitting for sale, man. Last 5 starts, they're scoring 7.4 runs a game to 2.4 for their opponents. I mean, if you're looking strictly from the numbers, I just still don't believe that the books are going to give you a minus 118 to that minus 260. Obviously, money's coming in on the Braves. People are betting them. Line is going up 10 cents. I would take a chance with the fact that maybe, just maybe, they can keep this low scoring. So I would say, because we're looking at the road to home, 3 games have gone over where they're going from the home to the road, and I just believe, I believe somehow, some way, the Padres are going to keep this close. I would say my final answer here is the Padres plus 1.5 at minus 102, and that'll be my call here. I'll stick with that. As far as an over/under here, you know, what happens when Sale goes out, and not only that, what happens if the Padres get 2 runs off of him? I mean, he does have a great ERA. You look at his games, even in day games this year, he has a 0.94 ERA and a 0.97 WHIP. You know, he's just looking really, really good in all splits for Sale. But he is coming up on 105 pitches on the season, and they've worked them fairly well. And both these teams have a lineup, guys. I mean, I like the Padres plus that 1.5 from all the metrics I'm looking at, because history to me means a lot, just as much as a pitcher that's not looking good. And people can see it. They know that Griffin Canning, I mean, he still has a 5 career WAR, you know, but his WAR this year for Griffin Canning is minus 0.8. Getting 1.5 on that, and even though he has a WAR, even though Sale has a WAR of 3.5 on the year, he does have a 60.7 WAR on the career. They've been hitting for him, but I like I said, the last game of homestand before hitting the road, with no rest on the horizon, they're going to go to Baltimore. Then they're going to play, I believe, the Nationals or the Mets, and then they're coming back home. You know, maybe you lose a little focus here with no rest in between. And I think the Padres, they still have them potent bats. Ty France is hitting good. So again, give me the Padres plus 1.5 at minus 102. And for the over/under, I'll make an official call here, even though it's not a strong lean. I would say this game stays under. I mean, all things considered. So that's going to be the call here. If you wanted to parlay that together, you can get a plus 193 on that. So that'll be the call here. Wager Detective calling the Padres plus 1.5 at minus 102, and then under 8 at minus 110. This is Wager Detective. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave comments on all those platforms. And no Wager Detective loves all his fans. I'll have the Wager Detective report up for another game later on. Thank you for tuning in. Share this video, and I love all you guys, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?